Maybe one more problem we will do, and maybe you should get thorough in Thevenin's theorem. We will do one problem in AC circuits. See here, I have given you the problem. 100 angle 20 is your voltage source. You have 10 ohm. They are asking you find V1 and V2 using Thevenin's theorem. So V1 is the voltage across minus J30 and V2 is the voltage across J20. The V1 is the voltage across capacitor. V2 is the voltage across inductor. See, at a time, we cannot find both V1 and V2 using theorem. We can find only one at a time. So first we will find V1 using Thevenin's theorem. And when finding V1, we will not consider V2. When finding V2, we will not consider V1. So at a time, you cannot measure both using Thevenin's theorem. I can measure only one value at a given point of time. So first we will be doing the problem to find V1. Then once we complete that, we'll do the problem to find V2. Okay, this problem has two subdivisions. So first subdivision, I'm going to find V1, and V1 is the voltage across this capacitor. I told you in AC circuits, whenever you get a minus J sign, it is going to be a capacitor. Whenever you get a plus J sign, it is going to be an inductor. So you have to be very clear on that first. So what is the first step? The first step, we are going to find V1. So what is the first step? Remove this minus J30 ohms, and you have to replace your voltage source by short circuit. We don't have current source here. Replace the voltage source by short circuit and draw the diagram. Yes, please draw the diagram. Considering these steps, please draw the diagram. I'll give you a minute time. Then I'll show you my diagram. We'll see whether both are correct or wrong. If anybody is having doubt, please ask.
Sir, for the AC voltage source, sir, we have to consider RMS voltage, sir.
As of now, have it as it is. Have it as this 100 angle 28. So don't change anything. We'll see when need arises. For step
Okay,
one,
sir.
it is not required. Correct? For step one, it is not required. So don't bother much
Okay,
about
sir.
that. See, I have drawn the diagram. See whether it is correct as per Thevenin's theorem steps. And here, since we have AC component, we will not call it as RTH. We will call it as ZTH because it will be impedance. Correct? So one small change. Don't use RTH for AC. You use the term ZTH because R is only for pure resistor, but here we have resistor, inductor, capacitor. So it will be more meaningful to call it as Z Thevenin or Thevenin impedance. Okay. Can you say which are in series and which are in parallel?
The 15 and 10 are in series. J20 is in parallel.
Is it so? Is it
J20
so?
and 10 are in parallel, 15, that with 15 is in series.
Yes, sir.
Yes. That's why I said you have an imaginary voltage source here. I've drawn the current flow. See, current is splitting here. So which means the path through the splitting current is going to be parallel. So 10 and J20 will be in parallel, which will be series with 15. So I think the first person who told it told the reverse way. So don't, it is not right. I told you, right? So whenever you are measuring from one end, you have to simplify from the opposite end. So here I'm measuring ZTH from rightmost end. So I'll be simplifying from the leftmost end. Leftmost end, you see, this 10 ohm and J20 are in parallel. Effectively, that will be in series with 15. Okay. So see here, 100 parallel to J20 plus 15. So simplify it properly. See, simplifying resistance will be easy, but simplifying complex numbers, you have to do it with utmost caution. 100 into J20 by 10, sorry, 10 into J20 by 10 plus J20 plus 15. Take LCM. 150 plus J300 plus J200 divided by 10 plus J20. Add the real part. Real part only 150. So write it as it is. Add the imaginary part plus J500 divided by 10 plus J20. try to simplify them as much as possible. So I think you can divide by 10 in both numerator and denominator. So you will get 15 plus j50 by 1 plus j2. Now we have to write this one in polar form. Please, everyone, try to get till this step. Try to get it in a J format. Now we have to convert this J into polar term, into polar format, which you know how to write magnitude and angle format. Is everyone getting this answer? 15 plus J50 by 1 plus J2. Final answer after simplification. Might be when you have complex numbers, it might take some time to reduce the complex terms. Now see, find the magnitude of 15 plus J50. It is square root of 15 square plus 50 square, and the angle is tan inverse 50 by 15. Same A plus IB, how will you find the modulus root of A square plus B square? The angle is tan inverse B by A. Same thing. The square root of 15
Sir, I
square
have
plus
doubts, sir.
yes.
Sir, can we use calculator to find the tan inverse angle, sir?
Yeah, you have to use the calculator only.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You have to use the calculator only. We don't know the answer for tan inverse 50 by 15, right? So definitely you have to use the calculator only. In Cal C, you will be having an operator called POL, pole. So if you use that pole, you'll get the answer in 1 second. But I am not sure how many of you are having scientific calculators in that you right moment. So numerator, the polar format is 52.2, angle 73.3. Check whether these values are correct. Denominator, magnitude is square root of 1 square plus 2 square, angle is tan inverse 2. And what I got is 2.236, angle 63.43. Check whether these values are correct. Don't forget to take square root for magnitude and tan inverse for angle. I told you how to do when you get this case. When you divide in polar format, what you should do? When you have two numbers, when you're dividing two numbers in polar format, what you should do?
Angle should be subtracted.
Angle should be subtracted, very good, and magnitude should be divided. So numbers will be divided, angles will be subtracted. So I have divided the numbers 52.2 by 2.26 comes up to 23.34, and the angle is 73.3 minus 63.4. So angle will become 9.87 degrees. Whenever complex numbers you get, I again say you have to do it very, very carefully. Even a single j you miss, gone. A single, instead of plus j, you put minus j, gone. And cross-checking the answer in AC is even more difficult. DC is easier, you can cross-check, but AC it becomes very, very difficult. So every step, utmost caution you have to exercise. So this is the polar format, and I can convert this into complex format also. 23.34 cos theta is this one. 23.34 sin theta is this one. So 23 plus J4 ohms you get approximately. Somebody validate whether this one is correct or not.
Sir, can you explain how to convert from angle form to polar form, sir? Once. Sir, I can't hear you, sir. You're muted.
You want to convert from this to this.
Yes, sir.
So you know this to this you want to know.
Yes, sir.
See 23.34 an angle you have, right? 23.34 cos 9.87 is the real part. E power I theta, right? So e power I theta, you know, it is cos theta plus j sin theta, right? Same way. 23.34 cos of 9.87 is real part. 23.34 sin 9.87 is the imaginary part.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And if the angle has negative sign, you have to take with that negative sign. So if you have, assume you have minus 9.87, 23.34 cos minus 9.87 will be the real part. It will be obviously positive because cos minus theta will be theta, right? But
Yes,
when you
sir.
take sign of minus theta, you will get a minus sign here. So whatever angle is there, you have to take along with the sign. You should not leave the sign.
Okay, sir.
I again say for the benefit of everyone, how to convert from polar form to complex form. Polar form means the form is r angle theta, magnitude angle, and complex form is a plus ib. And how to convert when you have r angle theta to a plus ib, r cos theta is a, r sin theta is b. And how to convert a plus ib to r theta? Root of a square plus b square is r. Tan inverse b by a is theta. So I have given you both the formulas, how to convert from a plus ib to r angle theta and r angle theta to a plus ib. Don't get confused. And wherever you use, please consider the sign also. Sign is very, very important. Here the angle is positive. It need not be positive always. If the angle is negative, you have to consider cos of negative angle or sine of negative angle. Is this clear how to find ZTH? So I'm going to stop till this for the day.
Yes, sir. It is
Because
clear.
finding VTH, again, it will be somewhat tedious. So I'm not going to do that because this itself is somewhat big. So I'm going to stop with finding ZTH for complex circuit. See, AC circuits, mostly it will not come in your exam. But in case if they ask, you should not blink, right? That's why I'm taking one sample problem for AC, how to solve Thevenin's theorem using AC circuit. So you cannot 100% say the AC will not come because theorems are valid for both AC and DC, right? So 95% DC circuits only will come. In case if AC circuits come, you should not say that it was not taught. So that's why I'm teaching this example to solve Thevenin's theorem in a AC circuit. Steps are going to be exactly the only thing what time consuming means this converting into complex number into polar to complex, simplifying the complex numbers will take a bit of time. If you do it carefully, that should be easy for you. Yes, anybody is having doubts in what we have learned so far? Yes. Okay. So now I having found out ZTH. Next step is I need to find out VTH. So see the previous circuit. In this circuit, what is the only change I am going to do? I am going to add my voltage source here. That's all, nothing else. The removed component will be removed only. So see here, I have added my voltage source 100 angle 20, 10 ohms, 820, 15 ohms. Here it is open. And I need to find VTH across these 2 points. And you see that this terminal is open, right? So through this 15 ohms, no current will flow. So you can assume that this 15 ohm is not there. So effectively, I'm measuring VTH across this inductor. So clear, measuring VTH across this terminal is equivalent to measuring VTH across this inductor because this 15 ohm does not come into picture because this terminal is open. So no current will flow through this 15 ohms. I have even written there, you see, no current because the terminal is open. So now the circuit becomes a simple loop. It is a single loop, correct? Because here the current cannot enter this region because you have an open path here. So it's a single loop and total voltage is 100 angle 20 and I want across J20. So I'm going for voltage division technique. So using voltage division technique, VTH equal to total voltage 100 angle 20 into that resistance J20 divided by that resistance, J20 plus opposite resistance. To hide this J20, whatever is there is your opposite. So 10 ohm is your opposite resistance. So J20 plus 10. Is it clear to everyone how I am writing this? Same thing. Only thing in AC you will get all those J, nothing else. The basic concept of voltage division technique remains the same only. So you need not get confused regarding that. Is it clear voltage division technique? Anybody is having doubt in finding VTH using voltage division technique?
Sir, if we have to find current means what should we do, sir?
V by
Across
R.
J20.
First to find current. How will you find current? 100 angle 20 by total. What is the total impedance you have in this loop? 10 plus J20. Okay, 100 angle 20 by 10 plus J20. That will be your current. How will you find voltage across J20 ohms? Current into resistance. So 100 angle 20 by 10 plus J20 into J20. See, you have got the same thing here. 100 angle 20 by 10 plus J20 into J20. Without finding
Okay, sir.
current only, or if we don't want to find current and complicate yourself, that's why we go for voltage division technique. We don't use I at all here. We write everything in terms of voltage. Total voltage into that resistance divided by that resistance plus opposite resistance. See, one is in angle, one is in complex, so that is not good. So I'm going to convert everything to polar. So J20, the angle is 20, angle 90. I told you already, whenever only J comes, the angle is 90 because you are going to plot this J20 on the positive y-axis. So what is the angle of positive y-axis from your x-axis? It is exactly 90 degrees. So it is 20 angle 90. And 10 plus J20, you know how to convert. It is root of 10 square plus 20 square, 22.36. And tan inverse 20 by 10 is 63.43. Okay. And now you see all are in proper format. See, whenever you have multiplication or division, this point should flash your mind. This you have if you have polar format, it will be easy for you. So here you see you have multiplication followed by division. So it is not advisable to go with complex number. See, you can do that, but that will be very much lengthy. So for multiplication and division, better have everything in polar format. For addition or subtraction, better have everything in complex number format. So that's why you see I'm converting all these complex numbers into polar numbers. Now you see 100, you have to multiply the magnitude and divide the magnitude. 100 into 20 divided by 22.36, 89.44. 20 plus 90 minus 63.43. So the angle is 46.57 volts. Is it clear to everybody? We are not changing anything. Just we are doing it for AC circuit. If you can clearly write the magnitude and angle properly, then these things should be nothing for you. And when you have two polar numbers in product, you'll be multiplying the amplitude and you'll be adding their angles. When you have two polar numbers in division, you will be dividing their magnitude and you'll be subtracting their angles. So here, single step, how will you do? 100 into 20 divided by 22.36 will be your magnitude. 20 plus 90 minus 63.43 will be your angle. So that's what I have got. VTH is 89.44, angle 46.57. So now we have completed step 2. Now draw the Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So this one you
Sir,
see.
doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if instead of inductor, if we keep capacitor, means we have to put minus 90 degrees, sir.
Yes, when you assume you have minus J20 capacitor here, then it will be 20 angle minus 90. You can write it as minus 20 angle 90 also, but I already always said this to you. Magnitude should be always positive. So take the negative term inside the angle. So it will be if you have a capacitor of, instead of inductor, if you have a capacitor of value minus J20 means, so here you will have minus J20, which is equivalent to what? 20 angle minus 90. Yes, you are correct. When you have a
Okay, sir.
capacitor, you will have a negative angle always. The negative angle
Okay,
indicates that it is a capacitor. We have seen the basics, right? So when you have
yes,
a positive angle, plus J means inductor, so the angle will be positive. Minus J means capacitor, the angle will be negative. Yes. Yes, you have to be careful across which component you are measuring. So the correspondingly, this term You should write it very, very carefully. Either the angle will be plus 90 or minus 90. Only two options we'll have. Now your last step is simple. Draw the VT Thevenin's equivalent circuit, VTH, ZTH, and now add the removed component. VTH, you know it, we have found out, see here, 89.44 angle 46.57. ZTH we have got, it's 23 plus J4. We have both the formats. So I better to represent the impedance in this format, complex number format. And you add the removed component minus J30. See, in the very first diagram what we have given, we are finding V1, and V1 is measured across minus J30. The very first step, we have removed this minus J30, and this removed component will be added only in the last step of your Thevenin's theorem. Step 1 removed. Step 2, again it is still removed only. Only in step 3, I am going to add the removed component. So ZTH and minus J30. And this is across minus J30, I am measuring V1. So now again, it's very simple single loop. So total voltage is known to me. I want to measure voltage across minus J30. So I can apply voltage division technique again. So total voltage into that resistance divided by that resistance plus opposite resistance. So opposite resistance is 23.J4 ohms. So see here minus J30 by 23 plus J4 minus J30. Again, you see multiplication and division. So naturally, it is you will find comfortable converting this into polar format. So this one, as it is, minus J30, as you asked previously, it is coming now itself. So minus J30 means, see here, 30 angle minus 90. If you miss this minus, it is gone. The entire answer will be wrong. So if you miss that minus 90, your answer will be wrong. And 23 plus J4 minus J30. So I can simplify this as 23 minus J26. You can add the imaginary terms. Now square root of 23 square plus 26 square is this one. And tan inverse minus 26 by 23 is this angle. See, I have found the magnitude and angle and I have written. You can even cross check once whether you are getting the same magnitude or angle. Okay, you can cross check. See here, is multiplication followed by division. So 89.44 into 30 divided by 34.713, 77.29, 46.57 minus 90, minus of minus. Division is subtraction. Already you have a minus sign here. The minus of minus will become plus. So 46.57 minus 90 plus 48.5. So the angle will be 5.07 degree volt. So this is going to be the value of V1 using Thevenin's theorem. We have completed one portion of the problem where we are asked to find actually V1 and V2. V1 is voltage across capacitor, V2 is voltage across inductor. As I told you before, we cannot compute both the values simultaneously. We are doing one at a time. So first we have taken computation of V1. Then after this part of problem is over. Next we will do the same thing for computation of V2. So anybody is having doubt in computation of V1? See, I again say there is no separate Thevenin's theorem for AC and DC. There is only one single Thevenin's theorem which is going to be applied for both AC and DC. So the concept of applying Thevenin's theorem, measuring finding RTH, finding VTH, everything is same. Only thing, additionally, you should be well versed in computing polar form and complex number format when dealing with AC components. So whenever capacitor and inductor come, so you have to naturally, the state terms will come inside, and you should be fluent in converting from one form to another format. So far, we have seen, we have worked mostly with polar format because we had lot of multiplication and division operations. So it is advisable to always, when multiplication and division come, always remember polar form will help you get the answer in quicker number of steps. When you have addition and subtraction, the complex number format will suit better. So remember these tricks when you solve problems. Anybody is having doubt, please unmute yourself and ask.
Sir, a doubt, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
in
yes,
question, instead of if they in the AC circuit, sir, instead
yes.
of giving in polar format, if they give like A sin omega t, if they give like in that format, means like how to convert, sir, into polar format.
See, if they give 100 sine omega t in the voltage source, it is 100 angle 0.
Oh, okay,
Okay?
sir.
Sine omega t plus theta, right? General formula is sine omega t plus theta. So in the given
Yes,
source,
sir.
see what is theta. In the example, what is 100 sine omega t means the value of theta is 0, right? So you can
Yes,
write the
sir.
equivalent value of voltage plus 100 angle 0. Simple, that's all. 100
Oh,
angle
okay.
0. That's all. If you have
Okay, sir.
100 sine omega t plus 45 degrees means it will be 100 angle 45 degrees.
Sir, here 100, that A sin A is the maximum value, no, sir, of the voltage.
Yes.
But normally we would take only RMS voltage, no, sir. Whenever we are doing like taking sums into while doing solving sums, sir.
That is when you do power calculation, we'll do it that way. Because in power, for finding power across AC sources, we'll be doing that way. But when you convert the voltage source, you can take it directly.
Oh, okay, sir.
Just convert whenever you're given sine or cos, when you want to convert to polar format, you can take whatever is given directly, along with it, add the angle of the source. That's all. It will be simple.
Why is it like we are taking differently, sir? Here we are taking the maximum value, and while finding power, we are taking RMS. Why is it like that, sir?
So see, when you come here, we are not computing any power or as such. We are just computing voltage or current only, right? But there, when you compute power, what happens, since the AC signal is varying continuously, you cannot have a fixed value of power at any given point of time. You know, a sine wave is continuously varying. It has zero, it has maximum, it has minimum, and like again it comes to zero, right? So when you want to find what is the fixed amount of power which is carried by the wave, that is the reason why we find RMS value. IRMS and VRMS, we find it just to see how much power is actually flowing because of the AC nature of the voltage or current source. But here we are just applying the signal and measuring a parameter, so that is not going to be of much significance to us. Anyways, I'll clarify this again to you
Sir,
tomorrow.
so the
I'll once again
voltage
check.
and the current we are finding everything is maximum. So the maximum current, maximum voltage, sir. Everything we are finding here.
I'll clarify that tomorrow clearly.
Okay,
I'll
sir.
clarify that tomorrow. I'll just clarify it tomorrow. Okay. Whether we are measuring RMS or whether we are writing the maximum voltage, I'll just clarify it tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So is this clear how to find? We have found V1 using Thevenin's theorem. Now we are going to find the same V2. V2 is voltage across inductor. So I'll show you the sum again. Yes, see here V2 is voltage across inductor. So I have to, first step is I have to remove that J20, and I have to remove the J20 and I have to deactivate my voltage source. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to redraw the diagram. So see here. So I have removed my inductor and I have started my voltage source. So if I cross this terminals, I have to measure my ZTH. Can anybody say what are the combination of resistors, whether they are series or parallel? The diagram is shown to you now.
A 15 ohm resistor and capacitor are in series, and 10 ohm is in
Okay.
parallel.
Yes. Everybody agreeing with that?
Yes.
How to find that? How to find that? I told you, assume an imaginary voltage source is there. The current coming out of voltage source is split into two like this. And the same current flowing through 15 is going to flow through J30 minus J30. So this when same current is going to flow, it is in series. And the current is splitting here. So 10 ohm is parallel with these two in series. Okay, that's what she said. And we have seen that across whatever terminals you measure, the answers will be different. No way the answers will be same. So don't think that if you open a component and measure ZTH, the answer is going to be same throughout the network. No. So wherever you measure ZTH across the component, ZTH value will be unique. It will never be same. Okay. So see here, I have written I have redrawn the circuit like this. So from ZTH, whatever current is coming, it is splitting, right? So I have redrawn it is 10 ohm, 15 and minus J30 are parallel. So 10 parallel to 15 minus J30. Please do the simplification. Please do the simplification and please say the answer. Let's verify the answer so that you will get some practice. I again say don't write each and every step what I teach from the notes. Do some calculation when I ask and say maybe this notes is available to you in the classroom. So you can download this at any point of time and you can manually work out. When I take class, you do whatever I say. That is enough. Drawing the diagram or seeing whether the resistance are series or parallel, finding out the value, those things you do. 10 parallel to 15. Anybody is having doubt how to find ZTH from the given diagram, please unmute yourself and ask. And to remind every one of you, we are in unit 2. We are seeing Thevenin's theorem. We have finished first theorem, superposition theorem. Second theorem, what we are seeing is Thevenin's theorem. And it is used to simplify a network, or it is used to find the voltage or current across a component in a simpler way. You know, when two resistors are in parallel, R1 into R2 by R1 plus R2. So see 10 into 15 minus J30 by 10 plus 15 minus J30. Expand, multiply the terms in the numerator. See if something can be cancelled out as common. See here, 10 into 15 minus, I am simply, see here it is 10 plus 15 I can add, so it is 25 minus J30. So 10 into 15 minus J30 by 25 minus J30. So I am converting 15 minus J30 into polar format, 25 minus J30 into polar format, and I am writing. I told you whenever you have division, that should be the wise way of doing. Division and multiplication always go for polar format. Polar format means that format which has magnitude and angle. Okay, which is going to have magnitude and angle. So the magnitude of numerator is 33.54, angle minus 63.43, and the polar format for denominator is 39.05, angle minus 50.19. Magnitude formula is square root of real part square plus imaginary part square. Angle formula is tan inverse imaginary part divided by real part. When you take the real part or imaginary part, you have to take along with the sign. In both the cases, you see you have a minus sign. So it is tan inverse of minus 30 by 15. For denominator, tan inverse of minus 30 by 25. The minus sign should come.
Sir, can we take 15 common and write 1 minus 2j, sir? Can we do like that, sir, for complex number?
Yes, you can do that. Yes.
Okay, sir.
You can do that. You can take 5 denominator also. You can take out 5 common. You can simplify. For that, if you take polar format also, you'll get the same answer. You can do that.
Okay, sir.
That's what it is. It is easy to work with smaller numbers, right? So try to simplify maximum extent possible. If you find that simplification is going to be an ardent task, then you can go for directly converting into polar format. The option is yours. So check whether you're getting this answer. 8.588 angle minus 13.24.
Yes, sir.
Yes, immediately after you have in polar format, immediately convert that into complex number and have it. Because sometimes for some portion of calculations we'll be using this one, for some portion we'll be using this one. So at that time you need not calculate. So whenever you calculate any parameter newly, if you are finding polar, you find the complex format and write it. If you find the complex format, you find the polar and write it side by side so that you can use it as and when it is required. So please check whether the answer you get is what is on the screen which you see. 8.588 angle minus 13.24 degrees. And in exam, if an AC problem or DC problem comes, I suggest you to go for DC. Because in DC, the mistakes you do will be less and relatively it will be easy to compute. And in AC, I don't say you should always avoid AC problems, but unless otherwise you are very strong in AC, don't go for AC problems. If you are comfortable in working with magnitude, angle, real number, imaginary number, then you go for AC. Otherwise, you better go for DC. If you have a choice in exam to go for AC or DC. If it is AC or AC, no other chance. If it is DC or DC, depending on your confidence level, you can go to any problem. Please try to get the value of ZTH. And I will again recap how to get ZTH. We have removed the inductor across which we are going to find the voltage. I am replaced the voltage source by a short circuit. Short circuit means a simple wire. When you assume a current voltage source is placed here, the current is splitting. When the current is splitting, parallel. And in parallel, in one of the branches, two elements are having the same current flow. So they are going to be in series. So 15 and minus J30 are in series. It is parallel to 10 ohms. That is what I have written here. And we have found the equivalent polar format of ZTH. And the complex format is given here 8.359. The 8.588 cos of this angle is the real term. 8.588 sine of this angle is the imaginary term. That's how you write that's how you get the complex number format from the polar format. Consider the angle also. Consider the sine of the angle also. If everybody has got this, then we can proceed with the next step number 2.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we got it.
Okay, what is step 2? What is step 2 in Thevenin's theorem?
Adding the source and finding VTH.
While adding the source, should we add the component also?
No, sir.
Sir.
Yes. See here, yes. What you stated is correct. See the step 2 diagram. I am adding the source. The component which is removed is removed. It is not being added to the circuit. So 100 angle 20, 10 ohms, 15 ohms, and minus J30 ohms. And I'm finding VTH across this point. And from the diagram, you can see I'm measuring VTH across these two components together. So I can use a simple voltage division technique. You need not find the loop current and then you can do a simple voltage division technique to find the voltage VTH. VTH is actually here, but in the diagram, if you see, VTH is measured across the series combination of 15 minus J30. So total applied voltage is 100 angle 20, and I'm measuring across these two components, and they are in series. So it is 15 minus J30. So if you hide this 15 minus J30, the opposite is going to be 10. Okay, you see the formula for voltage division, what I have written here. Total voltage into 100 angle 20 into that component. I am measuring across this component in total, and the same current is flowing. So these two are in series. So 15 minus J30 divided by that resistance plus opposite. Opposite is 10. How to find opposite resistance? Hide this resistance. Hide these two things. What is remaining is your opposite. That's how you have to find the opposite resistance. Once you write this equation correctly, then whatever is going to follow is purely mathematics. Purely mathematics. Anybody is not able to visualize how to find VTH in this circuit, it is all about redrawing circuit and visualizing in a different way. Roundabout way is finding out the loop current, then finding the voltage across 15, voltage across minus 30, adding it. That is the roundabout way. The simplest way is visualizing that VTH is measured across series combination of 15 minus J30. Directly apply voltage division technique. That's all. Maybe you can simplify things a little bit because everything is multiple of pi. Maybe you can simplify that. I have done that. That's why AC circuits will consume more of your time. Even though it's Thevenin's theorem which is used for simplification, it will take longer time because you have a lot of multiplication and division. If you don't know how to write in polar format, you can still do it by converting it into complex format, taking conjugate and multiplying and dividing. You can still do it. It will take double the amount of time. If you know polar format, your answer comes in one step. If you don't know polar format, your answer comes to 2 pages. It will be going on. Steps will be coming on, and you will also make mistakes equivalently that much times. 15 minus J30, I'm taking 15 outside. So 15 into 1 minus J2 divided by denominator, you have 25 minus J30. 15 plus 10, okay? So I take 5 outside. So 5 into 5 minus J6. Now 100 into 3, magnitude of this. 100 into 3 is 300. So 300 angle 20. And 1 plus 1 minus J2. Magnitude is 2.236. Tan inverse minus 2 by 1. Tan inverse minus 2 is minus 63.43 is your angle. Divided by 5 minus J6. Square root of 5 square plus 6 square. 7.81. Angle on the tan inverse minus 6 by 5. So it is minus 50.19. So remember, when you have minus sign in between, the angle will obviously be negative. Even by mistake, if you write it as plus, by seeing the term, you can correct it as minus. When you have a negative imaginary term, the angle will always be negative. This is a hard and fast rule. Now you have multiplication as well as division simultaneously. It is very easy to do both in polar format. So add all the angles in multiplication, subtract all the angles in division. Multiply all the magnitudes in multiplication, divide all the magnitudes in division. So 300 into 2.236 divided by 7.81 is going to be 85.88. And angle 20 minus 63.43 minus of minus, so it will become plus. So 20 minus 63.43 plus 50.14 is 6.76 volts. It is 6.76 degree. That is going to be your VThevenin. Please check your answers. Arrive at the answer. If any mistakes is there, please point out. If you are thorough in KVL and KCL, then finding voltage, you can do it just like that. Just like that, you can do finding voltage and current. If you are thorough, by practicing more number of, that's why I give you daily problem to practice, so that you will be strong in KVL and KCL. So whenever a complex circuit comes, application of volt KVL and KCL to find voltage or current, you can do it very easily without any confusion. The KVL and KCL are not circuit specific. They are theorems. They can be applied to any type of circuit which is given to you. Please ask doubts then and there and get it clarified. Don't do problems with assumption. Okay, don't do problems with assumption. Because most of our assumptions go wrong. please check whether the VTH answer what you get is what I get. You're getting it? Anybody is facing difficulties on getting this answer? Anything is wrong here, please let me know. Final answer is 85.88 angle 6.76 degree volt.
Got it, sir.
Got it, sir.
And when you do this calculation, if you are using a scientific calculator, you should ensure that the calculator is in degrees mode. Because what we are writing, everything is degrees. So by mistake, if you have it in radians mode, then everything will go wrong. So ensure that you are having the calculator in degrees mode. We never use radians mode in our problems. We always use degrees mode. If question is asked in radians mode also, you do everything in degrees mode, finally convert degree into radian. That should be a last step answer, okay? Yes, once those who have finished VTH can go for the circuit. So I am VTH voltage source, ZTH what I found, and then I'm adding the removed component J20. Across it, I have to measure the voltage V2. The voltage source series with ZTH is your Thevenin circuit. This is your Thevenin circuit. And this is your removed circuit. So now both the circuit closed. And the total voltage I know, voltage across J20 I have to measure. So naturally go for voltage division technique. Again, roundabout method is finding current and then finding voltage, but voltage division technique will make your answer, will make your solution simple. So total applied voltage into that component divided by that component plus opposite component. Whenever you write ZTH in the diagram, you should always use complex number format only. Whenever you do simplification, you have to convert it into polar format. So the diagram I have written C 8.359 minus J 1.966. But when I use this inside my calculation, I'll be converting that into polar and then proceeding. Okay. So total voltage is 85.88 angle 6.76 into that component is J20 divided by that component is J20 plus opposite. Opposite means height is J20, whatever is remaining is your opposite component. Here the opposite component is ZTH. And again, you have multiplication and division, so go for polar format. So it is better to convert your expressions into polar format. Already, first voltage, applied voltage is in polar. J20, you know it is 20 angle 90. Divided by, simplify the denominator, you have two imaginary terms, you can club them. Then find the magnitude. So the final magnitude is given here, 19.877 angle 65.13. This is the denominator only.
Sir, answer 86.41 angle 31.63, sir.
Yes. I just see I'm projecting the answer. You're correct. 86.411 angle 31.63 volt. Again, repeat, when you have multiplication, when you find the magnitude, multiply the magnitude, divide the magnitude. 85.88 into 20 divided by 19.877. For angles, multiplication becomes addition. Just like your logarithm, you know how it will log, right? When you multiply two numbers in logarithm, you effectively add. Same thing. 6.76 plus 90. When you divide two numbers effectively in logarithm, you'll subtract. Same thing. 6.76 plus 90 minus 65.13. So effectively the angle is 31.63 degrees. And solving the problem itself is tough, and rechecking will be even more difficult in AC. DC we can recheck it fast because all are normal numbers. We get either positive or negative or zero. But since everything is complex here, once you arrive at an answer in your exam in AC, you have to spend the equivalent amount of time to verify the answer in AC. So it will take double the amount of time. That's why I said stay away from AC problems. If no other option, you go for AC. Otherwise, you comfortably do everything in DC. I don't say omit reading AC for exams. No, you have to read AC concepts because that fundamentals you should know. So read all the AC concepts properly for exam. When the question paper, you decide which one to attend if AC or DC an option comes. I again say don't attend AC. If you're comfortable with AC, please go ahead. Some people, I have aversion towards AC. I don't like AC circuits. But for teaching, it's good because I'm not going to write your exams, right? So for teaching, it's good. But when you write problems, when you solve problems, it unnecessarily you have to solve it with over caution because the slightest mistake will get you down. So that is a word of caution I am giving you. Oppose